Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Just when the photo doesn't come out right, you know?
Oh yeah, that's when he's on the bed. Yeah, that totally reminded me of the freak out on the mirror. And what's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Nightcrawler.
Thank you,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
I don't have a quote, but I do have an expression of utter dread and horror from Cameron, my wife, and Grant when he was taking pictures of himself with that mask.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Him
they're-
walking into that room, that scene is insane. Oh my gosh.
yeah, utter dread and like disgust. It's I will never be able to forget that. It's beautiful.
And we've got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
Bud, listen to me. I'd never hurt anyone. This woman and I are having an affair. We're a little that's all.
This is part of the experience, yeah. Yikes.
To come up with that on the spot was pretty ingenious.
I
though.
know. Dude,
he
that's
is.
only a serial killer can be
Yeah,
that
dude,
calm
he's
in that
thought of all the
situation.
different things, dude. Bro, and we got Grant Mickle on the podcast. What's up, Grant?
I don't have a quote. This movie's great.
Well said.
Dude, I have a quote. I don't know. It's not even a quote. That illustration of the basement, freaking fair, dude. It's a freaking jigsaw puzzle down there, man. He's freaking had like
Yeah.
a wheel of torture. I don't know. It was terrifying.
Oh yeah,
dude.
his drawings look just like
So scary.
American Psycho when she's opening up his book, and it's just like all these drawings of these.
No, dude, it also looks exactly like I See You when like the kids cutting out the faces and like the family photos. I was like in the eyes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah, well that's the two movies or two things that Ty loves the most, and I'm sure he'll get into it. But and I mentioned this on our last pod, but it's The Noble Lie and what's the other one?
unreliable narrator?
Thank you. No, it's what was it? I can't remember.
Foreshadowing.
Thank
No, it
you.
was
No.
Unreliable Narrator, but there were two movies, I think. It was like back to back that I watched. One, I think that's what you're referring to, Jordan, because I watched two movies back to back. One had the Noble Lie, another one had the
That's right.
Unreliable Narrator, and I was like, oh, those two movies back to back. It was a great double feature. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was anymore, but
One quote we should have mentioned was it's just monkey stuff when he's talking about his kid.
He's like, grab a hammer, and smash him.
smack
Just
across the
monkey stuff.
head.
It's a thought you have, but you don't act on it.
I was like,
Yeah.
Monkey
what
stuff.
the fudge?
Forgot about
Yeah, I thought I'd do the
Verbalizing
freak out because I
thought.
didn't know if you guys were gonna go for it, and I was like flailing around, but I was like, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of creepy stuff that Dad says, like
Oh,
He was great.
even a dad that like wrestles with his son. It's like stop, like Grant. Grant doesn't want to be hugged or touched, and the dad's just like, oh, come on, man, come on. It's like wrestling with his son, and you're just like, stop. Like he's a
so
serial killer,
uncomfortable.
obviously. Yeah, I know you're a serial killer because you like hanging out with the Boy Scouts. Like if you take volunteers, this is
That's
what you
what
do.
Cameron
You go to an
said.
activity, yeah, and you go, okay, who here wants to go to the activity or like go on the camp out with the young men? The three men that raise their hand, you're like, all three of you are forbidden. You are not to hang out with the children. And
You
it's the
can
three
never
guys
go.
that's covered their heads. They don't want to go on the activity. Those are the ones that you put. In
Is that
charge
from
of
a
watching the
stand-up
boys.
bit? I swear I've heard that before. Or
Adam
is that
Carolla
just
mentioned it, yeah, and
Okay.
I've mentioned it before on the podcast,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's originally from him, but like I 100% agree. You want to get the people that are not in favor of going to hang out with the Boy Scouts all day. Not this guy who enjoys hanging out. He enjoys that facade of being like a good old family man and good little Bible belts.
Hey, there's
Middletown.
no proof that he was a.
No, it's true. I mean, just
Just, like,
and
tying
like, any
people
guy that
up.
treats the women
Yeah.
like that, yeah, we shouldn't trust our
He
kids
just
with
maybe
them.
he was just most likely a serial killer.
So let's get into it, guys. Today we're reviewing the Clovehitch Killer. This movie, it came out in 2018, I believe. It was on Netflix for the longest time, and that's where I saw it there. And it was directed by Duncan Skiles, and it was written by Christopher Ford. And it stars, I gotta say, this guy really knocked it out of the park. What was his name?
The main guy,
Yeah,
Dylan McDermott.
Dylan McDermott. Thank you. Or Dermott. I
McDermott.
don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, he was excellent.
Yeah, Charlie Plummer. I've seen him in a few other things. I think he was in that mentally schizophrenic movie, like the romantic comedy, but I don't know if it's very comedy, but it's like he and a girl, like the writing on walls or something like that. I think it was called. Anyway, Samantha Mathis, Madison Beatty, Brendan
Words on
Sherman, and a few others.
bathroom walls. Good
Yeah,
job.
Words on Bathroom Walls, I think was what it was called.
Yeah, exactly.
Writing
what
on the
it
walls.
said.
No, not bathroom walls.
It's
Yeah, nice
called
try.
Words on Bathroom Walls.
Wait, is it really called Words on Bathroom Walls?
Correct.
Pretty sure it's about. Is it about the paranoid schizophrenic and he like finds another
I
paranoid
don't know, but
schizophrenic?
it's in his filmography on
Yeah, that.
IMDb.
There you
So I
go.
figured it's
Words
probably
on
that
Bathroom
one.
Walls. Maybe he like has a romance with some girl that he's writing words, but is he in the girl's bathroom or is she in the boy's bed? There's so many questions now.
Anyways,
Guys, what was like watching this movie for the first time? Be honest. I watched this movie and I was like, I want everyone else to see this movie. That's what I knew when I first watched it because I was like, I'm conflicted with the ending, but I'm also like, I wanted to hear your guys' take on it and what you thought about the twist and whatnot. Because this instantly reminded me of I See You.
Mm-hmm.
First thing that came to my mind as soon as I watched it. I was like, this is like I See You with that like, but it wasn't the same. It worked in the fact that like I understood how he got there because at first I remember thinking like I'm glad the sun is here, but I'm also like, where the freak did he come from? I was
No.
like, this is awesome. I'm like, I'm glad he's gonna be here and save this chick. So anyway, it was
And
crazy.
well, and the comparison of ICU,
Yeah.
literally, like he has the gun and it's about to shoot, just like the guy swinging the axe. It's like
Yeah.
right before it cuts back.
Right. And it cuts at this very tumultuous time, goes back, plays a few other tidbits of information that we weren't privy to,
Well, and Cameron's so
and
funny. When he had the gun on him, he's like, if you don't shoot him, this is going to be a 2. It's going to drop down from an 8.
Cameron, what did you think, dude? He freaking okay. See, we got to talk about that, dude, because like there was a several. This is what I would argue are like the dumb movie character decisions, but like part of me is like, I get it, but I'm also like, it's a lot of things, right? So let's talk about it. So anyway, what was it like watching it? Say, I watched it and I was like, I can't wait to show this to the guys. So that was the first thought I had.
Well, and I'm
And
glad
then
you did. I don't
and
remember if you just like told us to watch it or
I don't like pushing stuff too heavily or even spoiling because I didn't want to tell you like,
Wait,
oh,
you
the
don't
reason I'm
like
like
overhyping any movie like Jordan does?
long legs
Every
coming
single
out this
record?
weekend. Yeah,
exactly like Zodiac, Cameron.
it's just like Zodiac. Dude, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance. He's not even in the movie. I know. It's just so great. You should go see it. Anyway, so let's hear it. What was it like watching this movie for the first time, Jordan, for you, and then rewatching with Cameron and Grant?
yeah. So I don't, like I said, I can't remember if you mentioned on the pod. I'm sure you did. And then I read your
Mhm.
letterbox and I was like, okay, well, I'll push it to the top of my list. And then I watched it. And then I told Cameron, I'm like, there's quite a few serial killer movies that you should check out because it's right up Cameron's alley. And I think I even liked it better watching it with all of you. And my wife was super into it. She enjoyed it so much. The very next night, she's like, let's do another serial killer movie. I'm like, who are you?
Really?
Yeah.
She got the
That's
bite.
funny.
Dude, go
To
watch
the
I See You
ways.
now. That's a good
Well,
one.
it's funny too because Tatiana was like falling asleep, and
Yeah.
then like the movie started, and she's like so into
Yeah.
it. She was
She
awake the whole
like
time. It was funny.
woke up. Because
Yeah.
it's seriously, the story is so well told. I think this movie is so good.
Maybe you'll increase your star rating then, Jordan. You know, I saw your review. 2.5
What?
stars, 3
7?
stars.
Is it
Oh,
three and a
I don't
half?
know.
That's 7 out of 10. That's high. How is 7 out of 10 not high?
Yeah, Ty, half of the movies I recommend to him, he gives half a star. So
I think all my
count your
movies,
blessings.
all my movies, I just give 4. I'm like, yeah, it's 4 stars, definitely. I'm like, I
And
don't
then
even know.
and then Jordan's comment will be, and Cameron says the movies I like are cheesy.
Oh, Anyone But You or whatever it's called.
Well, anyone but you. Oh wait, is that the Zac Efron one?
No.
No, wait.
No, it's the Top Gun Maverick guy. What's the bad
Glenn-
movie?
Oh,
Oh
Miles
yeah,
Teller. Miles
Yeah,
Teller.
Glenn Powell.
yeah,
Mm,
Glenn Powell.
Glenn
Glenn
Powell.
Powell
Yes,
and,
yes, I saw that. It's that guy's like rapidly becoming the next movie star. Like, man, he's in everything.
He is and everything.
All you have to do is act alongside Tom Cruise and be somewhat charismatic, and boom, you're all of a sudden mega famous. Who knew? How about you? Maybe that's the Scientology. Maybe he joined Scientology to get ahead. Mm. Grant, what was it like watching this movie for the first time?
Yeah, so I've only seen it once. I watched it with Jordan, Tatiana, and Cameron. And it was pretty funny because like the whole time I was like, they're making it too obvious that it's the dad. I'm like, it can't be
Yeah.
the dad, you know. And I thought that would be the twist. And then like,
I love it. You're like, it's too
like
obvious.
it's just it's so well told that like the suspense of where it stops to jump back, tell the story from the boy's perspective is just really well told. It was super fun to watch.
I like it. Cameron, how about you, man? What was it like watching this movie for the first time?
I knew from the first scene that I saw him that he was a serial killer. Let the
Yeah.
record
He's like,
show.
he's too happy. It's got to be
I
him.
told him, and I talked about it in my letterbox review. I said, "This is the exact reason why I don't trust anyone who's overly nice." Because I said, overly nice people always have something to hide. Why are you trying to be super
Yeah.
nice to me?
Yeah. Why are you being
Um,
nice? What do you have to gain out of this? Yeah.
yeah,
You're
and
like, what are you doing?
yeah, I'm
What are you
like,
doing right now? You're
what's
being
your
too
end
nice.
game? 100%. That's why
What's
call
in
me
it
a
for you?
narcissist, but I never trust anyone that's extremely nice
That's
off the
so
get
funny.
go. And then yeah, I talked about it in my letterbox review. I'm like, I guess I must have missed the cross dressing with a serial killer merit badge because what the fudge was that scene? I was absolutely, I've never been so flabbergasted in a scene. It was like,
It seems to
it,
come out of nowhere.
it
Like
was just like,
everyone's out of the house, the dad's
and those
alone,
like
and
dead, soulless eyes behind the mask, like, and I was like, oh my gosh,
the
that is
best part is when he's in the
horrific.
bedroom and then a knock on the door and he's like, oh, oh
crap.
shoot. It's like freaking Mrs. Doubtfire, like,
Yeah.
come here,
Yeah.
dearie.
Yeah.
That's literally what it made me think of, dude.
Yeah,
That's
So funny,
Mrs.
dude.
Doubtfire meets ICU. No, but yeah, and
For a brief moment.
yeah,
So funny.
I was really impressed, and I mean, it's my favorite genre, so like, it's like I've seen so many of them, so I was glad that like this one kind of like took an interesting turn, like, and kind of different twists. Because I'm not usually a big fan of like the, oh, is it this guy? Oh, the big twist is it wasn't him. I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
cool. I could have guessed that. Like,
Yeah, sometimes just even playing it out longer in a clever way, like where the
yeah.
dad has an explanation where your character could believe it, where it's like this and this. Oh, it was
Yeah.
actually your
Well,
uncle, and you're
well,
like,
and
oh snap,
and the
okay,
ambiguity, like,
dang.
I love that. I mean, you end the movie with like the ambiguity of it, and you're like, well, we don't for sure know, but I'm glad he killed him.
You know, dude.
I'm like,
Okay,
I'm like,
let's
this is
get
one
it.
of those situations that it might be better to shoot and ask questions later.
It's like girl sees the gun on the dashboard and goes running for it. He just grabs her and smashes her into the wall, and he's like, son, she doesn't know gun safety like we do. It's the only reason that would have been very dangerous. Like everything.
I
He's like,
love how
I
calm he is through that
incapacitated.
whole
Yes. Yes.
situation.
He never yells. He doesn't get angry. He's just like, son, I did this because of this reason. Like he's like, he's not even feeling.
It's
He's like, I
terrifying.
just bashed your girlfriend's head against the wall. And he's like, I had to do it for her safety. Like it's so unnerving. It's
Yeah.
so great. I
Yeah.
freaking love this movie and his performance. I was absolutely floored. It gave me hope for some reason, thinking that M. Night Shyamalan movie with the other actor would be interesting, but I'm like, this is just not the same thing. Dylan McDermott's performance in this was great. Like he did play like the dorky, oh my back's going out, older Boy Scout dad,
Well,
like just middle
oh,
America.
well, yeah, the actor, yeah. Because I thought he was like
Yeah,
faking it in the moment in the movie, like that his back was hurting. But then, like, you see from the
yeah.
other perspective, like his back was actually hurting. Like, he's like, probably haven't done this in
He's like,
forever.
oh, and he's like, get
Yes,
me
It's a
okay,
lot
time.
heavier than I
I'll
remember.
I'll edit this from the pod, but Cameron, you should have heard what he said because he hadn't, attacked anybody in so long because he was just reliving all the moments in his
Oh, yeah.
basement. But when he
Yeah.
burned it all, there's a moment when he like
So
tells her
good.
to get on the ground, and then he's like, and Cameron's like, did he just? I want to edit that.
He does
It's
like
'cause he was
he
like,
lets out an exasperated sigh and he's like in so
Yeah.
much pain and it's like
Yeah.
all this excitement is like it's not doing and I almost really like that. Like
hey,
I don't think I've
there's
because
nothing
we've
to
had
prove that there
oh,
isn't.
yeah, that's
Oh my goodness. Well, he does though. He does. You can tell he's enjoying it when he's like got her in the
oh
hold on the bed.
yeah, he's like freaking her out.
He's like
Yeah.
starting to breathe like super heavy. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I'm
strangleholding her.
like,
It's terrifying.
this is his version of cuddling.
Yeah, so terrifying. And I so like because like Memoirs of a Murderer kind of had that where it's like aging serial killer thing, but I kind of enjoyed this one where it's like, yeah, this whole idea where he could live off of the bank of the pictures and photos and then he has to burn them, and it clearly like upsets him, and he's thinking like I could just go on, and it just wakes him back, like it wakes that sleeping giant up because the girl says she's like, you don't just change, and I thought that's interesting because it's like he was able to stop for so many years and you could think maybe he's reliving that fantasy. He has the pictures, he has the photos, he has same thing. What was I saying? The pictures. I think it's pretty much all he had. He didn't have video, right?
The
Yeah, there was no video.
IDs.
well,
Well,
yeah,
he had
but
like memorabilia of the people.
Yes. He had like IDs and stuff like that from the victims. And so like he was able, and then like when he has to, push comes to shove, he's like, we have to burn all this. And he has to like go through with it, and it like hurts him so bad, but he's hiding that. And that's why it's so great when finally everyone gets out of the house and this scene comes out of nowhere where you're like, wait, what? He's dressed on his wife's clothes. Or maybe even clothes from his victim. I don't know. I don't think it's even.
He pulled some of that stuff out from the attic. So
Yeah, say that's the other
Mm.
disturbing thing. He has this stuff everywhere. It's in the shed, it's in the attic. Like this guy is so sick. It's in the crawl space. It's everywhere in his house. Like it's so good. Like anyway, this movie's great. And it's
And
hiding in
also,
plain sight.
also
Why
let,
doesn't dad Oh, sorry, go ahead, Cameron.
I was gonna say, let the record show that if I found anything sort of remotely like this from any of you guys, there's no amount of words you could do to convince me before I put bullets in your head.
Purple, yeah. You have the gun pointed like, hey, listen.
Yeah, it was Jordan.
I was
okay,
protecting Jordan. I was protecting Jordan. Jordan was this real serial killer.
That's what Tatiana kept being like. Well, it's his dad, and Jordan kept being like, yeah, he doesn't want to accept it. I'm like, I would have put 2 bullets in Dad's head so fast you don't understand. I'm like, there'd have been zero hesitation. I'm like, oh no way,
Oh,
you're a murderer.
I also really enjoyed the fact that like
That's
the setting in which the movie takes place also adds a factor of the character's choices. He goes to his best friends, like that's who you naturally like at that age,
Mhm.
probably who you would go to because you're like you can't talk to your parents, right? Like you just don't because they'll freak out or they'll do the wrong thing. So he's like talks to his friend and his friend's like, "Look, get away from me. I don't want to hear about your sin." And it's like so
Dude, no,
infuriating. He's
that's
like, it's
another
not
quote.
mine. This magazine clip was in my dad's truck. And like everyone blames him being like such a sinner. I just
No.
thought that was a great way to like set up like he's so ostracized already now because of his dad's actions, leaving a cutout of, some lewd magazine or whatever in the car. And the girl's like, "Oh, like, is this what you're into?" And he's like, "No, it's not mine." It's like, "This is your truck." It's like, "No, it's my dad's truck." But he didn't even like the kid had such a hard time like justifying. He was probably so caught off, and then the moment's gone. He has to drop
Yeah,
the
he
girl
was an
off. And
idiot, bro. I'd have so quickly ran it out. I'm like, oh, that's not mine. That's
it's
my
like
dad.
that must
He's
be
a
my
freak.
dad. He's a pervert. Yeah, my dad's a freak. I hate
Well,
my dad.
and it's
Make,
so
make
funny
yourself
too
more
when he goes
interesting.
back to his friend later
Yes.
at the I don't know where they're at the church or something, and
Yes.
they go out in the hallway and then they like fight. And then the
Yes.
girl's like, "Why don't
Why
you
don't you
just
just-
come out of the closet already?"
That was the other quote I had written down. Why don't you come out of the closet already, you slut? Or I can't remember what he says to her. But he attacks her. He
I
looks you-
also called that. I told Grant and Jordan the first scene I saw him in. I said that kid's gay.
That kid's gay. Exactly.
I'm like Rory. She's gay.
She's
Shut up.
gay.
I'm gay.
He's gay.
I'm gay.
It's freaking great. So anyway, let's get into 2 of our favorite things from this movie. Let's start with you, Cameron.
I think my first favorite thing is I think all the best serial killer movies do it. And I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. I don't love like a very rarely is a cool twist gonna be like, okay. Like to me, I love the reason Zodiac was like my favorite movie and is like my number 2 movie, like is because it's like the hidden obvious is like way scarier than like, oh, plot twist. It's just like something you can't prove, but like the dude wears a Zodiac watch and he's got bloody knives. The bloody knives are from chickens. I'm like, oh, chickens? Oh, really? Like it's that to me is the most enjoyable, and I love serial killer movies that show you who is suspicious or suspected, but that you don't know until it's too late for someone. To me,
Mm.
that's like a perfect thriller, is because like it's that suspicion, and you're like, because that's what I love too. Is I
It's
think
like the little things, right? Jared Leto couldn't have predicted
like
that he'd play a serial killer.
because
No one could
like
have seen that.
my favorite thing is I love the psychological thriller aspect of you gaslighting yourself. It's
Mhm.
because it's just exactly what was happening to Grant. I'm like, it's too obvious. And like I think that is more enjoyable where you're like, okay. And then like when they give like logical reason, you're like, that's a stretch, but like maybe. Because then I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe the dad, I'm like, maybe the brother did do it, and that's why like it stopped. And maybe that's why he's never mentioned it. Cause I'm like, you would maybe want to try to hide that so your brother doesn't go to like jail forever because he's handicapped. And I'm like, And so I love like that aspect of kind of always questioning but always suspicious. I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, you're never suspicious of this person until you find out it's him." And I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of defeats the whole purpose of the suspense.
Yeah, not a Scooby-Doo mystery. It's more like
Yeah.
how
It was Old
like,
Man Jenkins.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man,
exactly.
Smithers, the
Because,
why?
and see, because that like just that like lack of knowledge is so much more suspenseful. Because it's the same thing like why, and Jordan always jokes that I always mention it every single episode, but Inglorious, like the scene with Hans Landa, like why you're so tense is because you don't know if he recognizes her, and you're like, does he recognize her? And the entire time you're like, and he's like, "Oh, I can't remember what it was. It must have not have been important. And you're like, did he recognize her? I'm so confused. Um,
Right.
and then my second favorite thing is I mean, I just love um sociopaths and in movies. I probably should
Such
clarify.
a great soundbite, Cameron. I
And
love sociopath. Like put it on a shirt.
and and when they're
I heard
portrayed well, like it's so fascinating to me because like I'm super big into psychology, and so I always find it so interesting. Like you guys were talking about, like it makes those interactions with other humans like so interesting of how he just sees them as tools to his own ends, and how like he just like, oh, I know if I say these words, it will elicit this emotional reaction from this creature. And so he's like, oh no, like I just did that to protect us. And so he just knows exactly what to do to get like the desired result. But there's like I said, there's like no soul behind his eyes.
Yeah.
And so like that's why it's so eerie, is because he's like saying comforting things soullessly. And so he's like, oh no, don't worry, I'm here to protect you. And you're like, that wasn't said with like care. That
Your
was said with
girlfriend
like
was going for the gun. She
manipulation.
doesn't handle guns like we do. We have
Yeah.
proper gun safety training.
It's
She
like
doesn't.
we're
I
just
had to bash her head against the
well, and the
against
fact
the
that
door frame.
when he got caught with the affair, like he wasn't like, oh, it's an affair.
Yeah.
He's like, this is an affair. We're into stuff, and like being said like that, you're like, that's not really a normal response that would like you would elicit. That's kind of like a
Yeah, you'd think the role play would be done, but she's still tied up and gagged on the floor. So like, this poor woman, I don't think she's really into it, Dad. Why don't we
Yeah.
untie her and have her just confirm that this is what you say it is? Yeah, that poor girl's just sitting on the floor like, oh my gosh, get me out of here, save me. Anyway, Grant, how about you, man? Two of your favorite things.
Yeah, I think one of them is kind of what Cameron was saying, just about like, I think it's so fascinating when people act how we wouldn't normally act, that it's like this whole new like way of thinking that you're just like, people can't do that, right? You know, so it's super like engaging to watch and just see like how he would react in certain situations. And like Cameron said, it's just very eerie when he does, and he's very calm in these like very intense situations. So I think that's probably like my top favorite part. And then I really like the twist. I like the jump back and show it from a different perspective. I feel like there's not a ton of movies that do that. Maybe I just don't watch enough, but like I feel like this like some of the movies that I have, I feel like, you know, they're not as memorable, but this
Yeah,
one does
maybe
a
because
really good job
Memento
with
ruined it for all future movies, Grant.
it. Maybe, yeah. That's a crazy movie.
Wait, I
I
just
love
want
it.
to add to
Mine too.
Grant's like I guess this can be mine, but
Yeah, go
his
into it.
his performance was like easily my favorite part of this movie.
No.
So good. And then a second thing is actually something my wife mentioned is it is played from the perspective of the son, which makes it for a really fun film because it's more about his moral dilemma, whether or not he should turn his father in and like what kind of effect that would have on his family. I love that so much more than simply like who is it?
Cops and detectives and looking through
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and they still are like uncovering things, but like right from the get-go, like Grant said, it's almost too obvious because of like everything, like down to like when he's got a shed, Cameron's like, he has a shed with a padlock, of course he did.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Anyone
are you
that
kidding me?
locks their padlock,
Anyone
yeah,
yeah, I'm like, what are you
no.
hiding?
What are you
The
hiding?
lawnmower? Like, what are you doing, bro?
Well, and I
Well-
love too that like the attention to detail of like he goes up to the lock and he realizes it's not back to
Oh
zero.
my fetching
Yeah.
You know,
goodness,
you're
yes.
like,
it's the kind of
okay,
thing like
you're obviously hiding something.
yeah, because serial killers like hide little papers or whatever, or the Death Note where he like hides little things. If it's moved at all, he knows somebody's been
yeah,
there.
he knows someone's been in here. Yeah, it's a great scene, Grant. You're right, and a great show don't tell. He doesn't say like immediately when he looks at the lock, like he's because he like spins it to 0 and he's like, okay, someone was messing with it, and you're like, why would the kid think to knew that? Like, because it's like the kid doesn't know his dad's a freaking sociopath. He just tried to get in there and he got in there. He knew, he's
And
like, oh, my sister's birthday, I'm in. And he
everything
finds the
about
stuff.
this movie too, knowing that early on, is like every scene is that much more suspenseful because every interaction with his dad is like, because when he talks to his son, he's like, let's go camping. You're like, oh no, he's gonna shoot
He's
him.
walking behind him
I
with the gun,
know.
and you're like,
If
he is going to
if
murder
you're
his own son
suspecting
on
your
this
dad
camping
of
trip.
being a serial killer, and he says, "Let's go camping." You say, actually, I have some homework I need to do.
And-
Okay, it's the summer,
He didn't
right?
want to get up, and he's like, I'm not feeling good, and he's like, come on, get up, we have to go. You're
Like,
like,
we're
and
going.
The
We're
girl too
going.
asking him, so wait, you're a Boy Scout leader, so you know knots really
You know,
well.
knots, right?
It's like
Dude,
she's
it's like,
asking to
"Dad."
get killed. You're like,
I know. I
what?
was like,
know.
so how
Yes.
about you ever heard of this? It's this word called being subtle. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's try
Dude,
that.
she was just like, but see, that's the thing. It's
so are
one of
you
those.
the killer?
I
Like,
like the naivete or whatever you call it. Like she's so naive, thinking like I could just call him out at dinner, like nothing's gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoyed about this movie. She literally like sees the gun and she's like, I'm gonna go reach for it. And it's just like so naive and like, yeah, he's easily able to incapacitate her. And I enjoyed that part of the
notice how
movie
he's
where
killed lone women without protection. And she's like, I'm different. I'm alone. and a
right, yeah.
woman."
Well, and again, it's like the idea that you're empowered or thinking like, well, because I know the truth or I see things that other people don't see, like I'm somehow protected, right? Maybe she thought she had plot armor, and this movie's like, nope, like you very much don't. Like, and I love what you said. This is almost like a coming of age serial killer movie. Like a lot of like movies do, like the boy becomes a man and like he has to then become the head of the household because the dad failed to do his responsibilities. And I loved that aspect of it. So that's one of my favorite things because, like Jordan said, told from the perspective of the son, there's a few character decisions that they make, and I'm like, but it's not like the classic stereotype, like, oh, he went into the house and he shouldn't have. Like he went in with a gun, but then you find out. Okay, so we're gonna get into all the spoilers if you haven't spoiled it already, but
We did.
he has the rifle trained on his dad, and then like he gives it up, and Cameron's like, "Don't give him the gun, otherwise you fail. You're stupid." Gives him the
Absolute
gun, and then
idiot,
he like
Mom.
immediately the dad doesn't even hesitate. He just like clicks it right at his side. He like tried to kill
Well,
him
no,
right then
no,
and
no.
there.
He talks to him
Oh,
though. He's
he
like,
says,
he's
I'm
like, son, I'm not
disappointed.
angry. I'm just
Yeah,
disappointed.
I'm just disappointed.
And then he
Click, yeah,
unloads
yeah,
on. I was like,
yeah, and then click,
Yeah.
and then the father realizes, okay, I just tried to kill my son. What is he thinking right now? I tried to, and I failed. And the son's probably like, in that moment, he's like, I never even thought that would be possible. Like, my dad would never kill me.
Yeah.
Because even if I disagree with his life, like he would
clearly
never
had a
harm.
healthy relationship with his dad because I
See-
would not doubt that for a
See, I
second.
like what you said, Cameron. We never see them at odds. Yes, there's the uncomfortable talk of the birds and the bees in the shed, the monkey stuff, right? Those things like are very uncomfortable, but his relationship is very much genuine with his father, and I like that. It's not the typical like teenager, I hate you, dad. I'm glad you're a serial killer, and now I have to face that, grapple with that. It's like, I love you, dad, and now I'm really stressed out, like that you're unloading all this on my plate. Like, what do I have? I'm barely like
Yeah.
16 years old and I got to deal with
Hey,
all this crap. My dad being
We're
a
just
serial
having it
killer.
fair. We're just
It's like,
not
I
us.
really like this girl, and you had to be the serial killer that she's interested in.
The
I
dad was
really
kind of a
liked
wing.
her.
The dad was kind of a wingman if you think about it.
I even love it too when he's like, and then the girlfriend. But see, mind you, when the
He's
girlfriend,
never getting with that girl if his dad
mind
was
you,
the
she asked
Clovehitch
about
Killer.
knots. Mind you, when she asked about knots when they're driving home, she mocks him because she's like, "Oh, you think your dad's the serial killer?" So she was mocking him at the table, making him feel uncomfortable because she's like, "Oh, I get it. You think your dad's the killer," and he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, and he didn't even go into like, I found a photo of a woman bound and with her name on it, and it happens to be one of the victims. So like, where did you get that photo from?
Dude,
Right?
that's
It's
a
like
coincidence. What are we talking about?
it's circumstantial at best.
I like the twist too that the reason she's so involved is because her mom was killed by the
Yes,
Clovehitch Killer, which
It's
is
great.
really cool.
yeah, and she's kind of an outcast too. I like that at the beginning. They all judge her because it's like, oh, she's been out with the football team, and
Yeah.
she's such a, and so everyone judges her because of like everyone's like pearl clutching in this movie. Everyone in you know, Midwestern town, like I don't know, like small town, everyone's judging each other for
All in the
sins, and it's like
70s,
there is
yeah.
a killer boiling under here, and because he's friendly, people are like batting an eye at him. They're batting an eye at each other and turning on each other,
See,
and
that's why you never trust
ostracizing each other.
anyone's extremely nice.
Yeah,
That's what I used to tell
exactly.
mom every single
Too
time.
nice.
Anytime there was a really nice lady at our church, anytime I'd be like, she's a serial killer.
She killed someone, yeah.
She's hiding something, bro. Everyone's hiding
She's
something. I
hiding
don't.
it.
Anyone that
That's
is
so
that
funny.
nice, you're obviously trying to put on a facade. I genuinely don't believe that there's actually humans that try that hard.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
That's funny.
So anyway, and then like if I had to say like another favorite thing, like to name two, um, I do love the we've already mentioned at length, but like the noble lie and the fact that the son now has to carry this burden, and his final words of the movie were so chilling because at the beginning it starts, he's like, the killing started before I was born, so like this has just always been a part of his life, and again, so has his father, right? Very opening scene, he's like, um the dad's doing like a boy scout, whatever, and it plays a very prominent role in his life, and again, he's not too cool for school, he's not too cool for his dad, he actually has like a good relationship to his dad. And I remember thinking like, okay, it doesn't matter that
That was the
it's
plot twist.
yeah, it doesn't matter that that he's a killer, because like look at the movie poster, it's clearly like there's no mistaking it who the killer is, but like you said, Cameron, how it plays out and how long you can convince you, like what do you do in this situation, right? It's like, yeah, I'll just run away from home. It's like, I don't think I'm in any danger, like my dad doesn't know I know the secret, but even if he did, I don't think he'd actually hurt me. And it's like, I guess I was wrong, like, and that's what made it interesting at the end, where it's like they incapacitate him and then like they take him out into the woods, they set him up to make it staged like a suicide, and it's like, I wonder how many people thought, but it's like,
It,
I
it looked
couldn't
more
imagine
like
that.
it was a cleaning. He brought out all the cleaning utensils. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
looked
so
like
it
it
made
was
it
like
look
Yeah,
like
but
maybe it
then
was
remember
even
they
an
said
accident. Yeah,
they said with
cleaning.
his experience with guns, it doesn't seem like that is very
Oh.
likely. And so they're
Right.
saying
Sure.
So they were, yeah, they
Claiming
were
it was an accident.
insinuating
So yeah,
suicide, yeah.
and which would even make it safer, because they tried to stage it like a suicide, easily look at an investigation and be like, this guy wasn't suicidal. Then they asked the mom, and she's like, no, he was a wonderful husband and father to my kids, and it's like they start to investigate, right? So, but it's like if you can make it look like an accident enough,
Dude, what were the
I,
cops doing in this town? That's what I want to know.
dude, they weren't present, man.
All
They're
the detectives
like,
with this old lady and this like teenage girl. What the frick?
dude, she found it all, dude. Anyway, and then like the very end, like even like again, it's in plain sight. I like what you said, Cameron. There's no like that's not the mystery. It is literally just how the story unfolds is more entertaining, and how characters come to know of it. Because like very quickly on, like there's so many things where you're like, the Clovehitch Killer, he used to tie knots, because of the Nazi ties. Like it's a Boy Scout. It's like obviously the Boy Scout. Like
bro,
there's just,
when he
if
marked
you're
his prey, I was like, oh no.
yeah, when he goes to the house, he's got the wheelbarrow, and he just like ties the knot, and then the son sees it, and you're just like, oh, that's so heartbreaking, because again, he's like, it's unmistakable, like he's just marked his prey, so we had to come back here. And then like the whole running around hiding in the bushes, like away from your parents, like I don't know, that just felt very 90s to me, and it just felt very nostalgic
Also
in a way.
so smart to not immediately attack the lady from Walmart, like went like straight from the store, but like tracking her back and then like tracking the place before going in and attacking. I'm like
Well, I think
that's
too, he
what's
was seeing
crazy is
if
he's
like,
so
there was a
methodical.
husband home, or like
100%.
she would
Like
be
he's so
alone,
methodical,
yeah.
and that's why he hasn't been caught. is
Well,
because he's
and I
smart and,
love
like,
how
I'm not
he
gonna,
was
like,
even manipulating and talking to her. He was like, I just robbed a bank. Like, and so to keep her calm so she's not like, I
Oh
mean, she
yeah,
was
that was
freaking out,
crazy.
but everything he was saying was like so
Yeah, he's like, I just
calculated.
robbed a bank, I'm not gonna hurt you, I need
yeah,
to get
just
out of here, I
let
need
me
the
give me your
keys.
keys.
Your
Yeah.
keys. And he's like, he's incapacitating her slowly,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And then he's like,
just quickly.
yeah.
Well, and he's giving her, yeah, he's basically
That
giving
thing.
her a little bit of hope, like you're gonna get out of this. And
Yeah.
so she like
Well,
has
He's
because
that.
yeah, because
cooperative.
if you take that's the other thing too that proves that he's a sociopath. He knows how like humans will react.
Yeah, to manipulate,
and
yeah.
that he's done it multiple times. That he knows that if you take away all hope, then people get desperate and can like lash out.
Because
But if
there's
they're
nothing
like,
to lose.
So
oh,
now
Yeah.
I have to ask,
I'm gonna survive this.
how many of you guys, buried the secret that your best friend, your spouse,
Nah,
your mother murdered and
nah.
many, many people, and you allowed them to go unpunished? I thought it was interesting that the girlfriend was willing to go for that. And I could see maybe if she cared enough about him, where she's like, I can understand why you're doing this, but like, it's not fair to the other victims.
Exactly.
I almost agree.
And even the
But
detective, that poor detective has to live her whole life thinking I never solved that case. That's
yeah.
just
Well, she never did. She was bad at her job.
Had she been there, yeah, maybe if she'd helped out.
Two
Yeah,
15-year-olds solved
Cameron's
shit.
like, if Detective Loki was here, he would have solved it.
Yeah, he would have, right? With his Twitch.
Yeah.
yeah.
dude,
blinking eyes.
or even Casey Affleck from Gone Baby Gone. He would have solved it, or Gone Girl, not Gone. No, Gone Baby Gone. Yeah,
Yeah, gone, baby, gone.
yeah.
I love it. Well, for any last things you want to throw out, I would just say I love the speech at the end where I don't remember if he says like "Dad, wherever you are." I think he says that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, whether that's heaven or hell, if you can hear me, I love you. And I thought it was interesting too because I was like, oh, he has to say that in light of knowing that his dad's last one was tried to kill him.
Well, I
'Cause-
still think
Well, I'm curious if with
I think he's
no,
holding.
I-
I feel
Wait,
like
I'm curious
saying
with-
that he holds on to the memory of the dad that he knew.
Yeah.
Like, I
He's
feel like
the
he
rule.
doesn't want to think of his his dad.
I like you
as
saying that, Grant, because
you
part
know?
of me is like, I don't know if you could separate it. Like, I don't know, it'd
Well,
be hard.
I'm curious with
mean,
you three if
As long
if
as he
your-
gets the chick, he'll be fine.
if your
He'll be
guys'
like, yeah,
wives
got it.
confessed if your guys' wives confessed to you tonight that that they were serial killers
I'd laugh.
Okay.
and they had
Believe
evidence
dude.
and they had evidence.
I feel like it's all stays. Literally yesterday, she was like,
Grant
"There's
wouldn't
water
believe it.
out of the bathroom," and so I run to the bathroom, and she set up water bottles out of the bathroom.
What?
I'm so confused.
I
You
don't know
that
what's
whole
going on.
joke, like water's running out of the bathroom. Come quick, and then you go, and then there's water bottles set up.
I've never seen that
bathroom.
You
before.
guys
Never heard of
are
that in my
so
entire life.
adorable,
that.
Grant. You are the most adorable
what do
couple.
you guys
I
I've
like
know.
ever
So
heard.
I'm like,
You guys
Elise
like
could never be a
800 years
killer,
old?
okay?
What the fuck?
Just saying.
I put water bottles in the bathroom.
Oh,
There's water in the
honey.
bathroom. Oh my gosh.
I love it, Grant. And
Grant like
actually,
he's running to the bathroom. He slips on the water bottles, breaks his neck. It's not so funny anymore.
I actually asked my wife this last night. I'm like, would you be more upset? Because when you guys watch Fresh, I mean, it's on the poster, so I'm not spoiling anything, but he's a serial killer and he eats people. I'm like, would you be more upset that I was cheating on you or a serial killer? And she like had to think about it for a minute. And I'm like, are you crazy?
No, I agree. It's like, yeah, as long as he was killing people, like that doesn't seem as unfaithful as, you know.
Were you
yeah,
killing guys or girls?
Yeah. Were you killing? Did you really? And what methods
Oh,
were
it was
you
all-
using?
all
Was it
these
distant?
girls
Was
that
it
were
cold?
hitting on me, I just
Non-personal, like a
killed.
distance, like a gun, or were you like really feeling it with
Yeah.
strangling them?
Which
I
I speak.
stabbed every woman that hit on me at bars.
Which I already texted you guys, but I do recommend a Fresh. It reminds me a little bit of this. ICU is obviously a better comparison, but
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to watch another good
I
one,
need to rewatch ICU. It's been too long.
I see. He's great, dude.
Yeah, bro, you got to watch him just to see him without the mask. You're like, oh, put the mask back on. And then the scariest monster in the entire movie, Helen Hunt.
oh my gosh.
I'm
All
like,
right,
give
do
her
we-
the Frogger mask. Oh my goodness.
Do we recommend it? I think so. I think it's an
Oh, yeah.
Killer's a
yeah.
great movie, guys.
And I
Watch
feel
this
like
one.
this is, I mean, obviously
Pretty tame.
pretty
as
tame
far as, yeah.
considering the circumstance that it's about a serial killer who murders, but there is no like murder that you see on screen ever.
Well, he does see
Yeah.
those, like a lot of pictures of stuff, his magazines and different stuff. We skipped over it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and again, even that stuff though, it's still very it's done in a way that doesn't seem exploitative, I guess, is probably the best word I'd use. Like I agree with Cameron, it's very tame, but again, the subject matter and everything else, it's not like you're like, oh, like that was a very, I don't know, pleasant serial killer movie. Like it's
That's
it's definitely not as dark as, I don't know,
it just
or
reminds me.
twisted. It's not as twisted. It's more
Can't-
like a drama. It's almost like where Hereditary was like about grief and trauma and then very, very scary. But I'm like, it's almost a family drama first, then a horror movie. This one's like, this is almost a family drama and then a serial killer plot twist. If that
When
makes
you
sense.
said-
Not even a plot twist, but
When you guys keep saying tame, it just reminded me.
Yeah.
Cameron and I are watching House of Dragon. Cameron's like, we haven't seen in a while. It seems awfully tame. And then the very next scene. Anyways, I won't even go into it, but
Yeah, well, I
nice.
mean, if you're gonna take it out, it would, like the next scene is just like, and I was like, oh right, same, okay, excuse. Because we hadn't seen like even like we hadn't even seen like in like an
Yeah.
episode and a half, and I was like, wow, I'm like they're changing their ways, and then it was just I was like, all right, yeah, back to the originals.
yeah. All right, so we got who's gonna start cranking out their list. So let's go Ty
Yeah.
really quick first.
Okay.
Yeah, Ty, you
Okay,
can check our
so-
letterbox too if you want to know what we've been watching.
I know I need to figure out how to see your guys' letterboxes. You'll have to show me how to do that. But The Dark and the Wicked, did I mention that here?
I don't remember.
Pretty spooky movie. That was one that I don't know, Jordan, you saw, right?
I did watch it. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? I
I'm
enjoyed
sorry.
it. I rather
No,
enjoyed it. I think there was
it was
some
well
really good
made,
moments.
like really good, but it's
Yeah.
too dark for me. Like I know that sounds insane because I love dark
Oh,
crap, but it's the kind
that's
of
weird.
stuff that I'm like,
It
What?
was so good, Jordan. So it has the priest that plays such a
just
good
half
character.
the
He
movie
goes,
is just I felt
"You
like I
don't
was
worry about the evil out there. The evil's already in here." It's such a
yeah,
good
I just
line.
half the
It's a
movie I
priest and he's
felt
got
like
white eyes. It's so good. It's
yeah, I
so
felt like
good. It's
half the movie
terrifying.
just people were like demon possessed and like chanting stuff and mumbling stuff. And
So
like that girl
good.
inside the trailer, like I felt sick to my stomach.
So
She's just
good. So good.
standing there like chanting. I'm like,
It's
I
great.
don't
And
feel
then I
good.
watched, so I had to clean my palate. So I watched Sisu,
My
which is just like,
insides hurt.
Sisu is just about this gold digger. He finds gold and then like Nazis try to take it from him. And then he just like kills a bunch of Nazis. And it culminates in him
I'm
riding a
glad
missile
you
up to the earth.
reviewed
Funny,
and
funny,
watched it
funny.
because I finished it as well, Ty. And him falling out of the helicopter going, you like I was dying laughing.
It's great, dude. Sisu
Yeah.
is an insane movie. It's like it was directed by or like by one of the producers or something of John Wick, and it
Yeah.
feels like a 1940s version of John Wick, where it's just like you get to watch some guy kill some Nazis in a gory manner,
I
and
appreciated all the practical effects. There's a lot of
yeah,
gore.
yeah,
It's
lots of
fun.
fun stuff. So then after Sisu, then I get on an airplane and I'm watching The Taste of Things. I watched it with Maddie. It's a very nice French film. It's very sweet, very small, slow pace, but they literally spend like it's like the adult version of Ratatouille, I would argue, because it's like literally about food. This family, for like the first 25 minutes of the movie, they just make a meal. There's like hardly any talking. It's them preparing the meal. They're watching the vegetables. They're preparing this elaborate, gorgeous meal, and they all sit down and eat it. And it's just like the best thing they've ever tasted. And you're like, I bet that thing looks good. Like, it looks good. I was hungry at the time. I was like, A Taste of Things is a really sweet movie, though.
Ty, we were
Very
watching
sweet.
it In the Mood for Love, and it's a Chinese film, and they kept eating noodles throughout the film, and literally paused it and went and made some noodles, and then we
Yes,
ate
I had to go
some.
eat, I would eat some
Yeah.
noodles here. And then I watched A Winter's Bone, which is it's like a really sad movie with Jennifer Lawrence. This is like before Hunger Games days, and she was
I
like,
thought it was during Hunger Games
it's
days.
either that, I think it was shortly
Maybe
after
right before.
because,
Yeah.
or even right after, because 2010, when was the first Hunger Games? I'm pretty sure was after that, like
Mm.
2011 or
It was in
12.
middle school for me, so
Yeah,
around
yeah. So
there, or
it
the
would
year
have been
before.
around, I think 12 or 13 is Hunger Games.
Oh, the first Hunger Games,
Yeah.
2012. You're right.
Called it. So, but again, after the
Mm,
fact, she gets famous
I
for
guess it was
Hunger
in the
Games.
book.
In the movie's advertising, they're like Jennifer Lawrence from Hunger Games, and it's like this movie came out before then. Anyway, it found another shelf life because of her fame. But the movie's like really sad. She's like white trailer trash, and her dad's like committed a crime. So it's just her like going to the seedy underbelly of like the people that you'd find in the Ozarks, and she's just like, "Where's my dad? Like he's skipping on bail, and we're gonna lose the house if he doesn't show up." And it turns out like if you guys care to see it, like I won't spoil it for you, but like
Yeah.
it's sad, it's slow, but it was a overall good movie. And then I watched X and Pearl. I think I liked X more. I didn't know Kid Cudi made me laugh. He's like a cool actor. And then
Although
like
I loved her
Time
performance better
a,
in
a
Pearl.
Massacre. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Pearl's performance was like the whole monologue. It was like, yeah, she
Yeah,
can act and everything.
she's good.
So she is good. And then I watched About Time. Gave it a 5 star. I just thought about Uncle Desmond. What does that guy time travel for? You know, that weird uncle, short-term memory loss. I wonder what he time travels for. Then I watched
And
A
who's the
Field of
father?
Who's the father?
Oh, thank
Thank
goodness.
goodness for
That
that.
would've
That
been
would have been
extremely
awkward. And then I watched Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. And then I watched For Love of the Game, two baseball movies back to back. I don't know what I was thinking, but for
You're not Kevin Costner binge.
yeah, I did a little bit of Kevin Costner binge. But
Yeah,
I
a
was like, it's time to
little.
watch some old movies. Okay, and then I get back on the flight, and now I'm watching Snack Shack. I loved this movie. If you
I
guys haven't
watched
seen
it because of your recommendation.
did
Loved
you?
it.
Did you
Yeah,
love it? I'm
I
glad.
texted
Hey,
Cameron. I'm like, Cameron, you need to watch this. It's a
it's
coming of
the
age
Snack
movie.
Shack's very, very funny, and I think I probably would do it as a movie review for next time. It feels like a Napoleon Dynamite, but much more crass. It's just like
Yeah, I was-
coming of age, but like it's two entrepreneurial mindset kids that are always getting into trouble.
they're like two
Like
little
just
Jordan Belfords.
yeah, exactly. And they're
Money
crass,
hungry.
they're funny, yeah, they're money hungry and but like it's still a very like sweet film. It feels like Kings of Summer meets Wolf of Wall Street, I guess. Like probably is the best comparison I can give. Kings of Summer meets Wolf of Wall Street. So I
That's
really
a
enjoyed it. It's like a coming
crazy
of age.
combo.
These two kids that are like best friends and like they're running a snack shack at a pool and it's just very, very funny
No,
and
it reminds me more of
hilarious.
what's the one with Steve Carell, Cameron, and the kid that works at a pool? And it also has
Gone. Or it's like the past summer, Gone Past Summer,
No Way Back or something, or is that a different one?
way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that
Ty,
one.
you should watch it. It reminds me a lot of that.
Okay, so after Snack
It's
Shack,
got
and
Sam
then-
Rockwell. Ty, if that.
I thought that might have been the movie, but I wasn't sure. I've seen it, but I haven't. I've seen the movie, or I haven't
Cameron,
watched the movie, but I've heard of it. Yeah,
But I think Snack Shack is a little bit better than Way
for
Back.
sure.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
way
highly
back was
recommend
all
Snack
right.
Shack.
Yeah, it
But
was,
again, very, very crass. So like, don't watch it with
Yeah.
the faint of heart, because like these kids, like well, it's funny too.
Well, I'll
Cameron,
probably just
reminds me
watch
of
with the
you, and
cousins, 'cause
it reminds
I'm
me.
going up to the
I
cousins
don't
tomorrow.
think we would like attack each other or like wrestle, but like these kids would like strike each other, like they punch each other in the
Oh,
throat
yeah.
or the nose, like painfully,
No
and it just makes me
throats!
laugh. Like, yeah, no throats, man. Like
Oh.
it's so funny. But anyway, so it's really funny, and like without even spoiling it, like
I love the
like,
hot dogs when there's like
hilarious.
75 cents more for dogs.
more for the curse word. Yeah, they
they,
write
like,
like
spell it
curse
out in
words in hot
ketchup.
dogs, and the kid's like, "I want a dog," and he's like, "Okay, that'll cost you 75 more." Like they're just like nickel and diming kids. It is so funny, and they yell at kids like, "What's up? Are you angry?" Like they're just swearing at all these kids at their snack shack. It's the weirdest thing, but like they're two like a 14, 15-year-old kid. It is so funny. So highly recommend it. Definitely watch it. And then I watched Inside Man, which I really enjoyed. Denzel Washington plays a great detective, and it's got Elijah Ford. I can't even pronounce his name. But it was a really good heist movie. Clive Owen and a few others. It was one of those heist movies I never ended up seeing, but Spike Lee, it's a great movie. Is Spike Lee the one that does Her? Is that the same Spike Lee, or is it Spike Jones? What's his name?
Spike Jones.
Spike
maybe?
Jones does Her.
Oh, okay, so it is different directors. Because I was like, oh, he directs Spike Lee does different movies. So anyway, I watched Inside Man. It was really good with Denzel Washington. One of the top 10 heist movies of all time. I would throw it in there easy, because like I'd put it up with like, Ocean's 11, and it's a great heist movie. If you guys haven't seen Inside Man, definitely a good
It is
watch.
good.
Denzel Washington is so charismatic. He's so great. He's like, oh, you didn't rob the bank, did you? like I don't know why him interrogating people is so good. Like that's Denzel Washington for you. And then I watched The Beekeeper, which I gave 5 stars.
I loved it.
Ironically,
No,
the movie's insane. Like
It is.
there's literally a world like John Wick where it's like there's this agency organization of like they call themselves the Beekeepers, and like they just murder whoever they need to. I don't
Yeah.
know why or how. I don't know how they get contacted. This lady has like a mohawk and pink hair, and she wears this ridiculous dress, and she has this big truck, and inside her truck bed, she pulls back a cover, and there's a Gatling gun, and she's trying to murder him at a gas station. It's the most insane thing. The movie does not give to, and I don't
Yeah.
either. And then like it has
It's-
like these call centers that like swindle old people out of money, and they put it up on the screen like, oh, and here's all of her money, and her accounts are drained. Like I just got all of her money in her bank. Like it's so ridiculous. Like how do they even have this set up, and how can they like show it on a monitor? That makes no sense. It's so
so funny.
ridiculous. But the movie doesn't give it, and I guess I
Yeah.
didn't either while watching it. So and then I watched The Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Holy crap. Batman Begins is so freaking good. I want a teacher and a mentor like freaking Liam Neeson. And although I just don't like all the killing. And then Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's performance. The movie is just so unforgettable. And then the last 2 movies, I was on a horror movie kick. I watched In a Violent Nature, which is like basically Jason Voorhees just walking through the forest, like on his morning jog, getting his 10,000 steps in, and then he just starts murdering people left and right. It was okay. And then I watched The First Omen, which is another like a one of those like Damien movies. I think they're called Omen, right? Because I watched the Gregory Peck version, then I watched the remake, and I thought those movies were kind of good. Like, oh, there's something wrong with this kid, and bad things start happening around, like demon child. It's like the spawn of Satan, or it is Satan, or something like that. Bears the mark of the beast. And this one's about like the backstory before that with the mother and how this child was conceived, and it's like very dark and very disturbing. And I don't think Cameron should watch it. Just thought I'd say that here. But the movie was very unsettling and very unnerving, and I enjoyed it. So
It had a good atmosphere.
good movies, lots of good fun. I had to get going,
Okay,
but
all right.
there's so many good movies, and I can't wait to listen to what you guys have all been watching, and I'll be checking your letterboxes. So take it easy.
Later.
You go first, Cameron.
Okay, I'll be quick, even though I've seen like a billion things.
Quick.
I'm not gonna.
It's
I'm
been
not
a month.
It's so good. Let me
I-
tell you all about it.
I've not. I'm not gonna explain the things. I'll just say what I rated them. ICU 9, Interstellar 10, 12 Angry Men 9, About Time 10, Count of Monte Cristo 10, Hitch 9, Grave of Fireflies 10, A Quiet Place the first one 9. Inside Out 2, 8. Quiet Place Part 2,
Oh,
7.
I thought you were saying day one you gave it 9. I was like,
And then A Quiet Place Day
wow.
1, 5. And then Clovehitch Killer, 9. And then I watched a comedy special. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm trying to remember his name, but it was probably solid like 7 or 8. And then I've been grinding since our last since our last episode. I've watched 4 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, you're on season 5 now, right?
Yeah, we're halfway through season, or we're towards the end of season 5. And then I've also watched some of The Boys, and then I've also been watching House of Dragon season 2 with Jordan.
It's so good.
Insane. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
It's
especially
amazing.
the last episode. Oh my gosh. I don't want to spoil for too many people, but dragons are sick. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Grant, if you liked Game of Thrones, because did you watch Game of Thrones, Grant?
Oh yeah.
Then get on
I was-
this. What are you doing?
I get on House of Dragon, bro.
Think about it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Dude, starting a TV show is literally like the hardest thing for me.
There's only
It's
a
so
season
hard
and a
to
half
get
out.
in it. What? Well, that's the point too. It's not even done. So I'm like, I don't want to wait. I'm gonna just binge it all. when it's all
Gosh,
out.
whatever.
Then watch Fetching Avatar, Grant. It's 3 seasons and it's all out. You just freaking nugget. It's literally like some of the best writing ever.
It is good.
But it's easily the best writing for a child show ever.
Oh, easily, man.
Yes.
But yeah,
and again, it's so hard to
I'm-
start. That's the point.
I'm looking forward to me and Colton's goals to try to finish season 5 today. Because we got like 3.5 more episodes.
Well, wait, you're gonna try and finish today?
Uh-huh. And then I'm looking forward to watching season 3 of The Bear, and as well as
I need to start that.
as well as more episodes of House of Dragon, and then potentially watching Long Legs. And then also I saw another thing from recommended from another person that liked a lot of similar movies that I liked, of Meet Joe Black, or Meet Joe. Yeah.
With Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and so I'm just really interested in it, like it's because I finally had like the concept explained to me, and it's like really interesting that like essentially like death comes to Earth to like live out like a life or a day or something like that. So
Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah,
Grant.
I'm trying to remember. I watched some comedian, but I don't remember his name on Amazon.
That's because you need to start writing them down on Letterboxd, Nugget.
I know. I just started Letterbox. I only have 1 review in there right now.
And even if you,
But-
Grant, don't have enough time, just at least star rate it, just so you remember.
And just say like I watched it this day, and I can go back.
Yeah, and you don't even
well,
have to.
you can edit Grant the dates that
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can edit the dates. You can also edit and add text later if you wanted to. You don't even have to write anything.
Yeah, it took me like 4 days to write that review. Like I started it, and then I had to go do something, and then I come back to it. One time it deleted, so I had to start all the way over. I was like,
Oh no.
You could always just do what Colton does, and he just says one line for every single review.
And most of them don't even have anything to do with the movie. I'm like,
Yeah,
what is?
for like as a Quiet Place, his only line was how to have diarrhea silently.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So my list, I saw Godzilla -1. So good. Definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because Godzilla was my least favorite part. Like you love the characters, and then like, well, okay, his heat ray is dope as frick, dude. But such a good movie. Definitely recommend. I saw the Invasion.
That's how you do a Godzilla movie, Grant, not Godzilla the movie.
If they had the animation from the other Godzilla in this movie, it would be a perfect movie.
What?
Dude, this Godzilla from -1, it's like it's that cheesy look
Little
from
bit.
all the old Japanese ones, you know?
But I prefer that. I actually like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it looks
Yes. Are you-
so
See, Grant, this is
dumb.
why you would
So
like House of
dumb.
Dragon. It has the
Yes,
look
House-
that you like.
Yes, House of Dragon Grant has
Interesting.
insane budget.
Well,
like,
and it
like everything is just built up to look like super satisfying.
but it has that
Hmm.
CG look that you love so much.
Yeah,
You're like-
it's got the Spider-Man, the PS4 Spider-Man
Yeah.
graphics. There's plenty of screenshots for you to take.
Yeah, one day I'll get to it.
Oh,
And then I watched The Invasion, and I can't remember what
You
this
watched
movie
the
is.
Marvels, The Invasion before
No,
your
it's with
House
this
of
guy, right?
Dragon?
It's with Daniel Craig. This guy. Yes.
Wait,
Grant,
what?
yes or no
I know,
is
I'm
usually your
looking at it.
response to that. You don't remember? Did you not watch it?
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Nicole
Oh,
Kidman.
oh, yeah. Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
watch the movie? What?
I
Yeah,
liked it. I know
It was like a
not a
month
lot of
ago. I forgot what even happens.
it. I know most.
It's like a disease, right, or something?
No, they're aliens and they like shoot this gunk out of their mouth and it like infects
Oh, and
people
they
and it
throw up
spreads.
everywhere. Yeah, they
Yeah.
throw up in your drinks. That's right. Yeah, this movie is like weird as crap.
Yeah, it's actually been remade a lot. I think that's like the third or fourth
Really
film. Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well, it obviously wasn't a very memorable movie because I couldn't remember the plot. But then I watched King Kong, the 2005, directed by Steven Spielberg. No,
Huh? King Kong?
no.
Are you talking about
Who?
Kong versus
No.
oh Godzilla? Okay.
Jack Black, 3 hours long.
Oh, Peter Jackson.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I don't know why I
Steven
thought okay,
Spielberg.
Steven
I was
Spielberg.
like,
Maybe produced? Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know. But that was a good rewatch. It's kind of fun. I hadn't seen him forever.
bro,
And then I watched
I had so many nightmares from that bug scene growing up.
The bugs, yeah,
Yeah,
especially that
they're
one, the
freaky.
suction one.
Yeah, like sucks and like starts like
the worm
eating
looking
his whole
thing.
body. Yeah.
Bro,
Um,
that and the Hobbit used to give me the biggest nightmares. Those effing green spiders in the Hobbit, bro.
yeah.
Just have nightmares of falling onto, like, leaning over my bed, looking at spiders like that and falling.
I still have nightmares about spiders. I wake up all the time.
That's funny. And then I rewatched The Martian because I hadn't seen it in forever. I think I enjoyed it more the second time. I don't think I liked it the first time watching it. And then
My favorite
for,
scene, Grant.
what when the potato thing explodes?
Yeah. When
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, it did!"
Yeah.
Explodes and launches him across
I
the
don't
room.
know. And then I rewatched Force Awakens. That was a fun watch. It's like the only good one of all the new ones. And
Because it's literally
then
just New Hope with nicer graphics.
yeah, exactly. And then I watched Missing. Oh, yeah. This is the Searching #2. It's good.
She
I
should have
really
ate
liked it.
her mom.
No spoilers.
Are there-
Spoilers!
You're so funny with that. Oh man. It's good. Watch it, Cameron. If anyone who's seen Searching, watch
Searching
this
is
movie.
good. That one, I'm excited to review that one. That was
Yeah,
so good.
Well,
Searching's in my top
'cause-
100.
Yeah, because we watched Missing, and then Elise and I both loved it. Then we went back and the next night and watched Searching again, and that was so good.
That's so good.
Yeah,
First
like
one
it's
better,
such.
still better in your opinion, Grant?
They're both different. I think
Okay.
the first one,
Give me
like
a heart attack.
I really do love the second one. Like they do it different enough from the first one that it doesn't feel like a copycat.
Okay.
That it's a really fun watch. But yeah, it's the same, like all from computer screens. They do there's a lot of just like creative things that they're able to do with that. Like some of the stuff is a little bit of a stretch, but it works for it, I think. And then Elise has been watching some Korean shows. There's an extraordinary attorney Woo. It's like this
What the
autistic
fuck?
girl that's an attorney, and it's just like very lighthearted. There's like romance and stuff. So I watched a little bit of that with her. It's kind of
Grant's
fun.
watching Love on the Spectrum, Attorney Edition.
Exactly. And then I've been watching the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like one of the most insane shows of all time.
Where are you watching
You
it?
should watch it. Crunchyroll.
Oh,
Because I share it with Elise's brothers. So, and then I started rewatching Squid Game. I still need to continue watching it, but it's been a fun rewatch.
You're like, I
Clovehitch-
can't start a series, but I'll rewatch a series I've already watched.
Yes, it just
Bro, fetch and watch Avatar.
okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna kill myself.
well. This too was when
You're
this
like
was
watching
2
all
weeks
this
ago.
anime, and the best anime of all time is fetching right at your fingertips.
What, House of Dragon?
No,
Uh,
he's talking about Avatar.
Oh, Avatar. Pfft, whatever.
Last movie. Oh my gosh. Strike him down.
Anyways.
bro.
And I
You
watched
haven't even seen
Clovehitch
it.
Killer with you guys, and then I
I
watched,
hate you so much.
and then I watched Up, and then I finished the last episode of The Chosen. It's so good.
Oh,
I can't
season
wait
4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we just
the
watched the
latest
first episode.
came out on Sunday or
Mm.
2 Sundays ago. Yeah.
I can't believe you're
Um,
over here rewatching Squid Game and not even giving Avatar. Avatar, do it.
quiet.
Oh, you.
Speaking of quiet, I watched The Quiet Place day 1. I enjoyed it. Not nearly as good as the other ones. And then watched
Jordan,
some
did you
of
see
Top
it?
Gun
You haven't
Maverick.
seen it
No,
yet.
I'm done with the. I might give it a shot, maybe.
Well,
But Cameron said it
such,
wasn't good.
like it was such a good like. The first movie just introduced an idea that's like so fun to explore.
Yeah, I do love that. Yeah.
And I just they they didn't dive more into the aliens really at all in this movie.
Dude,
It was just a very standalone.
The aliens are nerfed in this one. Are you kidding me? In this movie, you can make noise, and if you run fast and dive to the
Yeah.
side, you can dodge them. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
that's true.
in the? And if a monster's sitting right next to you, it can't hear you. Breathe under your breath heavily, or your heart. What the fudge, bro? In the
Yeah,
first
no,
one,
that's
you'd make
true.
a noise, and then they would blick at you from like half a mile away, like. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, that was, and then in this one too, Grant, they're like posted up when he's like watching all the guys walk. He's like, oh yeah, look at these idiots. I'm like, these are not intelligent creatures. They are reactionary. I'm like,
Yeah.
all we've seen from them is reactionary to sound. There's nothing to show that they're.
Well,
like,
and there was no like I love like the exploring in the first movie of like how do we defeat them? And then like, you know,
well, that's
like
the only
exploring
reason
that whole
that
side.
it makes sense. It's like, oh, they found out the vibrations, and that's how they can kill them. And this one, they're
Mhm.
just like, we can just outrun them. I'm like, I what?
I know. Yeah. Like when they showed like the weaknesses of like them drowning because they couldn't swim, but like you already kind of knew that from the other ones. So there wasn't anything new revealed about them. Well, there was like a weird like egg scene, but they weren't eggs because they started eating them.
Did you know that there's good pizza in Harlem, though, Grant? It's like, what the?
Yeah,
kind
the
of
whole
sci-fi is
suicide
this?
story, that was kind of interesting.
Like, this is, and it's like, is this a rom com? And I'm like, what?
I know
No,
the guy comes out of
get to
nowhere.
the ship, and then you can
Yeah.
have your rom com.
Yeah, kind of interesting. So
Like,
it was
I
a good
could-
standalone film. I don't think it fit in with the rest of the series.
Good
It kind
is
of
a
just
strong word.
it stole the aliens from
hey, but-
Quiet Place, and then
Jordan Strider
Yeah.
loved it, gave it 5 stars. So,
wow.
yeah,
I mean, Grant gave it high praise too. So, I mean, on your review, you liked it.
I think
so.
it's a one-time watch. I'll never see it again.
well, yeah, you can say that again.
But I recommend it
I'm also
to
a little
people.
salty because
Like,
I spent $17 to see it the day it came out. With
it's
like
a laid
couple
back.
friends.
It's a laid back one-time thriller. So
$17. I mean, that's basically to buy it.
Exactly.
yeah, I wouldn't buy it. I'd get it like, you know,
I'd
when it
let
comes
Jordan
on
get
something.
it. Yeah.
Because I will.
No, I'm
buy
saying
it.
like if it comes on Netflix or something, just watch it then. But yeah. And then last two, well, so I started Top Gun Maverick. Still want to finish that. Such a long movie, but it's so good. And then the comedy guy on Amazon that I don't remember his name.
Is it
Yeah.
the Jewish guy? Did we watch the same guy?
Jewish. No, I think he's Christian. Or I don't even know if he's Christian.
Oh, is it?
But he's
is it
just
clean-
like,
Is it clean humor? If it's clean humor, then it's not. We did not watch the same one.
no, yeah, it's definitely clean.
Okay, yeah, then we did not watch the same thing.
Because, well, I think, because I watched it with mom and dad. I think Ryan
Yeah,
recommended
mine's
him.
Sam Morrill. Jordan, you've seen him.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. I won't talk about everything I've seen.
Jordan
It's
watched
too
A
much.
Beautiful Boy.
Yeah, great movie. Thank you, Cameron, for the recommendation. I know I've just kind of been watching what you guys have been watching, but then I've been sneaking in a lot of serial killer movies. I don't know what my deal is lately. I've just been watching tons of slasher flicks.
Yes,
Planning his
sir.
next. Jordan's planning his next kill. He's like, I need ideas.
And people, all you guys be saying that I'm the serial killer of the family. He's runner up.
No,
That
see, I channel my stuff into movies and just that's how I get it all out. Yeah, just ones that I really love, like House of Wax, Wrong Turn,
Wrong turn, oh brother.
and then
That movie's so bad.
that movie.
I hate that
makes
movie,
me
dude.
so
you're
uncomfortable.
talking
Oh,
about
It's
the.
so bad.
You guys are thinking of the the remake, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, whichever
Yeah.
one
The,
we
the
watched
ones
was
in the village,
garbage.
and then the ends like with a
And the dude's like, I want to stay. You're like, what?
That's the
Yeah.
remake. I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
like the
dude, it's-
original better. The original
Oh.
is like everything you guys hate, which is campy, super over the top violence, and like there's one scene I was actually just gonna send it to you because there's a guy holding a knife and he's going, and he's like, and then they swing back a tree branch and it smacks him in the face, and then he falls off a cliff. It's really funny.
Is yours next the one with the cave with like the people without eyes?
They basically look like creatures from like it's basically the Descent and the other one I'm obsessed with, but instead of in space, it's in a forest.
Oh, no, but isn't that your next? Don't they have like the cave with like the people that they like gouge out their eyes with like the hot pokes?
Oh, wrong turn. Yes, sorry. Your next is
Yeah.
a different movie.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, it's mixing up all your slashers, Cameron. Come on, get on board. But yeah, if you want to, I'll leave a link of our letterboxes and I'll add Grant's there, even though he's only got one movie review. But I'll put it in there if people
I'll
are interested.
start doing it now.
Yes, do it, Grant. And even like I said, just to write, just give it how many stars, and then I
And then
obnoxiously
once you
stop
give it,
you.
and then once you give it text, Jordan will just respond on your thing and say 4 stars. Anytime I give anything that he doesn't like high rating, he just goes 3.5 stars, Cameron. And I'm like, get off my back, bro.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, Cameron, my favorite was the Joker. You're like, I gave it a 3.5 stars, and you're like, you get what you deserve, and you showed an image of a gun.
Yeah. Get you deserves.
I'm excited for the second one. I
That's
don't know why
funny.
you and Ty aren't, but
I'm just nervous because I love the first one so
Yeah.
much. It's hard to follow. It's the same thing as Dark Knight.
I just want to go in and blindly.
It's
I
same as
don't
Dark
wanna,
Knight
like,
Rises. It's hard to
watch
follow
any
something
trailers or
so
anything.
well done.
I don't have as high expectations, so that's why I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then last thing I'm excited about is Robert Eggers' new Nosferatu, and also Nicolas Cage this week. I'm going to go see the movie. I'm not as excited as Ty. Ty's like freaking out, but I am going to see
Longlegs.
it. Yeah, Long Legs. Are you going to see it, Grant?
I don't know. I've heard the only things I've heard have been from Ty, but I don't know anything about it.
Nicolas Cage is a serial killer. What else do you need to know, Grant?
Grant, it has got some crazy comparisons. People have been comparing it to like Silence of the Lambs, Zodiac, and Seven.
All Cameron's favorite
Well, that was
movies.
that was Ty.
I
Yeah.
know. Except
That's funny.
that this has got like demonic shiz in it potentially.
Yeah.
That's why they're
Oh,
watching it and then telling me if I can watch it.
Anything else, Nuggets?
No, I'm just excited. Again, next episode.
You should
of
watch
House of
Jujutsu
Dragon.
Kaisen in
Everybody-
Japanese.
No,
English is
English.
I'll do that once Grant watches Avatar.
I'll do it if you watch it. I just know you won't watch it.
I'll watch it. Are you kidding me? I think I've already watched the first episode with Jake.
Hi,
Is that when he was
everybody.
like trying to get you to watch all the anime and you kept being on your phone?
No, that the only time that ever happened was with Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan? Yeah.
That's because
Oh,
we
that's
watched
funny.
12 episodes straight. And I was like, and every episode I'd be like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
funny.
it's all right. It's just not like super up my
Yeah.
cup of tea. And he's like, just wait.
It gets better.
like-
And you start to love the characters in that one.
And I'm
but
like, Jake, like, it's not my cup of tea. And then he's like, we'll watch a couple more episodes. And then if you don't like it, then we can stop. And I was like, we're 12 episodes deep, brother. And so I'd hop
I
my
went
phone.
the opposite, Grant. I loved the beginning and I started to like it less as it went on.
Well, yeah, because you said that like it started becoming less grounded when they used the
They're little web slingers.
machines
no.
to fly around. I love that part. It's
All right, I gotta go.
It's so
Love you,
grounded,
boys.
but
Bye.
love you.